I do believe in the afterlife.
Oh,
I absolutely
do you?
do. I do believe in the afterlife, and it's the one thing that's kept me going. Sometimes in my life, when I've had some really bad things happen, you know, and people have died, and I think the one point at which I was really pleased that I believed in the afterlife was when I was married to someone who had a son with severe disabilities, and that little boy was adorable, and he struggled so hard. I can hardly talk about it, actually, because he struggled so hard at special school, and then when he was 11, he got stomach cancer.
Oh, my
and
God.
died really quickly. And it was, you know, he was my stepson, but I'd obviously looked after him during the time we had him for 4 years. And when that little boy died, I think, you think there can't be a God, you know, but then I did, because that's what got me through that. And I think when I look at a balloon floating around a room, to be brutal, I think it's the air conditioning in the hospital, you know, moving that balloon around. But if it gives that woman comfort, fair enough. But a human spirit isn't, you know, inside a balloon or in a rainbow or whatever. I believe that spirit goes somewhere else, and there is another world. But don't presume to expect other people to agree with me. It's just my private faith, and I'm almost embarrassed discussing my faith because it's something that, you know, I keep quite quiet about, but it's there, and it, you know, it's comforting.
I think you're right, and I think if it's anything, if you believe in anything that gives you comfort, then who are we to say it's a load of rubbish or it doesn't? I mean, I watched this video, and I found it fascinating because although you were saying, oh, it could be the air conditioning, there was loads of balloons in that room.
That one balloon went to her.
Balloon went to her. The others stayed completely still.
And helium doesn't go down.
No,
goes up.
and it kept coming back to her. That was
But why
the thing.
didn't it
Every
go to the
time she
ceiling?
cried, it came back to her. So I'm fascinated, and I don't want to say I absolutely don't believe in it because 95% of me really wants to believe in it.
Yeah.
I really want to believe in it.
But who's actually
But
died
I haven't
come back and said what happened?
Yeah, and the thing is, I want to believe in it, but I want my own proof to go, oh, now I believe in it. You know, I've had so many people that I love that have passed, and I keep thinking, why have none of them come back to me and said, I'm okay, or I'm here, or... But then other people would say they probably have, but you haven't acknowledged it, and it will be in something like that, you know.
I'm a bit like you. I'd really love to believe that there is some sort of place that you go to after you die, that your spirit's somewhere, or that you're all up there with your family. And like, I lost my mum, my dad, my sister lost her husband, you know, like we've lost lots of family members, obviously. And you would just love there to be... I just think if there was, my mum somehow would get in touch with us and let us know.
Would you not
that
do
she
a
was
Ouija
all right.
board or anything?
No.
See, I've tried all of that.
No.
It's like... I so want to see something because I'm the kind of person I have to see it or something to believe it. You know, like UFOs and that. I want to believe it, but I don't believe it until I see it. But like we discussed it before, if anyone knows a place or anything who's watching us, take us to the haunted house where you know we see a ghost, and then I will tell you it's true. I don't believe anything until I see it. As the afterlife, where'd you go? You can't go up there because it's the sky. Where up there? But where? No one knows.
But, you know, I think my mother is probably in another place sitting on a park bench smoking a very strong cigarette along with my sister, because that's my image of them. They smoked through their entire life, and they're probably having a fag now watching this programme thinking, that silly old cow is nagging us from beyond the grave, you know, we haven't even escaped her. But, you know, I can't completely explain it. I believe that your spirit does go to another place, and I find that very comforting, but I don't believe the spirit manifests itself through mediums, because I profoundly disagree with mediums. I think they're 9 times out of 10 very manipulative people preying on people's loneliness and insecurity.
And profiting.
But you had an experience with a medium, didn't you?
I had experience, she was tarot cards. And, out in America. A few years ago, and my sister had just been, she'd been diagnosed with cancer, but she was, the day I was leaving for the holiday in America, she said, look, I found another lump, they're going to check it out, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I went off on holiday, and she said, have a good time, there's no point in you worrying. And a friend of mine, as we were walking along the beachfront, said, oh, there's a tarot reader, and he's really into all that. And he said, please do it, and I kind of went, okay. And she did these cards for me, and And I'm a bit like you with all that.
Yeah.
I've always thought, oh, I think they just guess at things. And, you know, when you're desperate, you go, oh, yeah, that's me. She didn't know me from Adam, and it wasn't a big, you know, showpiece where she was sitting. She just had a little table. And she then went on to tell me every single moment of the next 13 months of my sister's life.
What told you what was going to happen to Bernie?
And it really, really, she told me, literally pinpointed each section that was going to happen, and it did.
Yeah.
And it was then that I thought, I'm never doing that again. I don't want to meddle in that because she didn't know Bernie, she didn't know me, she was American. And what happened was, for the next 13 months, when Bernie was getting good news of, oh, they said it's shrinking and I'm doing really well, and my family were ecstatic, all I could think about was what this woman had said.
Don't you ever wish you could go back?
And I never had that moment. I mean, it fascinated me that everything... I'm not just exaggerating. Everything she said happened, but it scared me at the same time. I don't want to know that. And people over here have said they shouldn't tell you the bad things.
For more Loose Women action, click here. And I'd subscribe if I were you. It's totally free, and it means you'll be kept up to date with new videos and exclusive YouTube content.
Remember, you know, they get to the bit where it says, and if there's anyone in this room knows of any impediment why these two should not be joined together, and Amy went, and the whole room went,